Greater love had no man than this. Ladies, if a guy says I love you, tell him sit down. Let me tell you what I just learned. The meaning of what I understand you saying is that you are passionate towards me, you are willing to be committed to me forever. Are we together? That you will derive pleasure from my life as well as bring pleasure to my life, and should the need arise, you will be willing to lay down. That one, you see, that number 4. Hello? Let me leave you to your pastor. I'm doing my job here, and then I'll leave this place quietly. Now let me tell you this, we're wrapping up. If God did all 3 to us without the 4th, he would not be called love. A time came when he looked at Jesus and he looked at me, he looked at you. He had to lay down one, to lay down me or lay down his son. But the son was sinless. We were the ones who were sinful, and he said, for your sake, Jesus, I will sow you as a seed. When he cried and said, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, Father, you have turned your face away from me. He said, it is not hatred, it is love. When he turned his face from Jesus, my question is, who was he looking at? Because love is like energy. If it turns away from somewhere, it is towards somewhere. If it's not somewhere, it's somewhere else. I leave that for you to think. If it is not somewhere, it is somewhere. And while he turned away from Jesus, I can imagine him looking at me through the eons of time, that there is a man of God through a womb and a generation that is dead in sin and witchcraft and all kinds of things, but within that I see a little child that one day can become a useful vessel, and let me give him a chance to serve my purposes. And for my sake, Jesus cried, but he did not change his mind. He had the power to say, Jesus, you are bleeding too much, but he said, still die for my sake. He actually died. Well, the cross will always represent the love God had for me. What's the remaining part of that song? When the Lord of glory heaven sent, gave all on Calvary just for me, just for me. Jesus came. Listen, this is what makes the gospel good news. This is why we travel to the nations, to tell people, while you were there doing your thing, there is a story you need to hear. That one loved you so much. There are people who will say they love you when the money is there, when the political position is there. I heard about a great politician who, as soon as he left office, more than 90% of his calls and contacts, they went to pledge loyalty to the next person. Before they would swear him, they left the man alone. Called them and they didn't pick. They came and said, we are loyal men for you. But there is one that sticks. When all run away, when friends leave, when ministerial colleagues leave, he stays. He stays. The Bible calls him a friend that sticks closer than a brother. God is love. When I approach God in prayer, it's a love affair. When I approach God in worship, it's a love affair. Are we together now? And because he loves me and is invested so much in me, I am motivated to reciprocate out of that love by taking advantage of the supply of his grace and do that which brings joy to the heart. Imagine a man who gives everything for his wife, buying her clothes, taking care of her, adorning her with glory, and the man never eats. She doesn't take care of him. She's around at home, but he goes to the kitchen by himself, does everything by himself. Not that she's busy. And then sometimes she hears the wife talking with another man, and he still says, you are still my wife, I love you. What kind of man is this? This is how far he loved you. If you believe God is love, then you can easily believe he's a healer. He gave Jesus what is cancer. He gave Jesus, ladies and gentlemen, what is fibroid. This is the correct revelation from which the healing power flows. It's wonderful to have power, but let me tell you, when you become love conscious, you will see manifestations of power that will dumbfound you. Are we together now? When I call you CEO, that's authority and power. But when I call you lover or father, that's a love affair. A young boy will come and push between people waiting for his father. They are waiting for a CEO, but the man is going to meet his father. He will push everything and they say, this boy has come again. But there's nothing he can do. Unfortunately, many believers have not understood this love dimension.